I think one of the most underrated parts of learning English, especially business English, is learning to play with the language a little bit. When I started doing more interviews and meetings with non native speakers, I noticed something really interesting. The people who sounded the most natural weren't the ones using the biggest words. They were the ones who said simple things with confidence and humor and style. Like me with my bow ties. So, excuse me, while I get this bow tie sorted here, that's what these fun business phrases do. They don't just fill space, they make your English feel real. They help you sound more fluent and human. That's why I love idioms and phrasal verbs and things like that, because they help you sound more lively, more like, hey, he's a real person. So I wanted to share a few expressions with you tonight that are not only useful, they're actually kind of fun. And once you start using them more, people will start to notice that you sound more relaxed, more fluent, more like yourself. So tonight we're going to take a look at some of the most effective everyday business phrases and idioms that will boost your vocabulary and your confidence. I'm going to show you 10 practical and fun business phrases that can help you sound more fluent, more natural, and more like yourself. Don't miss the Mastery Minute. At the end, I've got a word origin story that's stranger and maybe a little funnier than you might think. And if you got questions, be sure to drop them in the chat, and I'll try to answer a few live right after the show. So let's jump on into it. Let me introduce you to Ray. Ray was a smart guy, great with his English, but every time he spoke in meetings, something felt off. Not wrong, just textbooky. Like he memorized all the right words, but none of the feel. So it wasn't incorrect. I actually heard him say, "We must begin the marketing project promptly." Well, was it true? Was it correct? Sure. Natural? Not quite. So I helped him swap it out for a simple phrase. Hey, let's get the ball rolling on marketing. Let's get the ball rolling made the room light up. People started to nod. One even chuckled and said, "Glad someone's ready to move." And that's when Ray got it. It's not just what you say, it's how people feel when you say it. So today, again, we're going to look at 10 of these business phrases like that make your English sound smarter and smoother and more you. And normally we do like 5 phrases, but today I feel like, hey, it's a bonus. It's my son's birthday today, and as a birthday gift to the rest of you, I'm going to give away 10 business expressions to make you sound more natural and professional and more confident. Listen, language doesn't have to be dry and robotic. Having a little fun with English, especially in a stuffy business environment, will help you connect with people, and those connections can help you get ahead. These kinds of phrases show that you're relaxed and friendly and culturally in tune, especially if you're in a multicultural office or if you work with a lot of native English speakers. They're like seasoning in a dish. Like add a little salt and pepper. That gives it flavor to make your message more memorable. So because it's 10, we're going to have to roll through these as quick as possible. So let's start with that first one. Get the ball rolling. I just mentioned it a second ago about Ray, and this is the phrase that I suggested he use. It shifts the vibe from, we should commence with our scheduled discussion. let's get the ball rolling. It means literally to start an activity or a process and make sure that it begins smoothly. Where does it come from? It actually comes from the 1800s. Ball games like bowling and croquet, they're games that don't actually start until the ball starts rolling. So when you say this, you're signaling action. Let's get the ball rolling on the new marketing campaign this afternoon. That's the kind of way you're going to use that. So use it when you're starting a meeting or a project or a task, especially when you want to encourage quick and effective progress. Next up, to see eye to eye. I once worked with a product team that had constant friction. They're always fighting with the marketing department and the product development team. No one could agree on the priorities until they had one particularly honest meeting. And that day, something clicked. They finally saw eye to eye. It wasn't about compromise, though. It was about clarity. And so then they learn, okay, we got to collaborate more. This is a really interesting phrase. It means to have the same opinion or to agree fully on something. You might say, fortunately, the client and our team saw eye to eye on the budget and the timeline. Now, I was surprised at the origin of this. It actually dates to the Bible. In the book of Isaiah, 52:8 to be specific, and in the King James Version of the Bible, it actually uses the words eye to eye, and it describes people seeing a shared vision. And so that's what it means today. It means to become in complete agreement, especially after discussion or conflict. Next up, keep me posted, or to keep someone posted. This is a phrase that actually probably developed from the military. The use of posting messengers or notices to keep someone posted originally meant to keep them informed of important events. Today, it's a simple, friendly way to say, hey, I'll keep you in the loop. So, yeah, it means to provide regular updates or new information as it becomes available. For example, please keep me posted on any changes in the schedule. You want to use this when you're asking someone to keep you informed during a project or a process. You're asking them to let you know. Keep me posted. And next up, a win-win situation. You ever find yourself negotiating and things are not really going that great, but eventually things work out, and in the end you come up with better prices, better payment terms or something. Both sides get to win. That's what we call a win-win situation. Literally, it means a solution that benefits everyone involved. For example, you might say, wow, the new schedule is a win-win for both teams. Where does it come from? It actually has its roots in game theory. It's been a popular term since the 1980s. But in the game theory, where there's a win-win outcome, it means both players gain something without loss. And in real life, it's really beneficial for negotiations. So if you're highlighting a successful compromise or successful negotiation, you might say it's a win-win situation. I like this one. Think outside the box. I once had a team that I was coaching, and they just kept hitting the same problem over and over. So I challenged them to forget the current system they were working on and try something else. And that got them thinking, oh, this is a new solution. It's an innovative way. We got to think of a new thing. Now, it's not really about a box, but it comes from the 1960s 9-dot puzzle, where solving the challenge literally required drawing a line outside of a square of dots so you could complete the puzzle properly. So basically it means to get creative. For example, you might say, we need to think outside the box to solve this problem. Use it when you're brainstorming or trying new approaches to things. Next one is touch base. I had a manager who used to say that all the time. He's like, hey, let's touch base every time we talked. And I was like, what a thing to say all the time. But it really means, hey, I want to quickly check in or communicate something. Somebody might say, let's touch base tomorrow and finalize the details. And it comes from baseball. If you ever watch baseball, the players have to physically touch the base to stay in the game. Otherwise, they're out. And we use it in business as a metaphor for reconnecting with people. And you can use this on emails or scheduling updates for meetings and things like that. All right, I'm trying to go fast because I want to keep this within the 15 minutes. Back to square one. Aha. Now this one's interesting. It means to start over after something fails. For example, you might say the deal fell through, so we're back to square one. It's the kind of thing you use when you have a project or a plan that didn't work and you need to start from the beginning. They think that this phrase comes from the old board games like Snakes and Ladders, where players literally had to return to the first square if they landed on the wrong space. Never fun. Mandy, the phrase you hear the most from your boss is keep me posted. That's very similar to the other one, touch base. All right, move on quickly to in a nutshell. In a nutshell. Have you ever heard that one? You'll get this. If you've ever had someone in a meeting who just keeps talking and talking and talking, and you want to say, just tell it to me, put it in a nutshell, explain it simply. That's basically what in a nutshell means. It means in summary. You might say, in a nutshell, when you're summarizing, in a nutshell, the client agreed to our proposal. And I was surprised where this came from. It actually goes back to ancient Rome, where it said that Cicero's entire Iliad manuscript could fit in a nutshell. I don't know about that. I've read the Iliad. It's a long one. So, and that's exactly, if you want to put something in a nutshell, you explain it very briefly. Wrap it up without rambling. That's not what I'm able to do today. All right, we're going to cut some corners. Cutting corners it means to do something poorly in order to save time or money. You're not giving it your full attention. We can't afford to cut corners on this project is the example sentence. And really on any project, you don't want to cut corners because it means you're not giving your best. You want to use this as a warning about sacrificing quality or for the speed or the price or the cost. This actually came from construction or carpentry, where literally skipping the full work of measuring or fitting corners would result in sloppy or unstable construction. Not a good thing. But today it's all about warning about speed over quality, like I said. All right, our last phrase, and I've talked about this one before, bite the bullet. It comes from battlefield medicine in the 1800s when wounded soldiers were actually given a bullet to bite on because they had no way to kill the pain, no anesthesia. And now it's a powerful metaphor for doing something that's hard but still necessary. You want to use this when you're talking about facing tough situations with courage. And you might say, I finally bit the bullet and asked for help. Well, hopefully asking for help isn't tough for you, but you should try to give it a shot. Always ask for help. All right. I'm sorry for going so fast, but again, I don't want to go too much overtime tonight. So if you have ever felt stuck using the same words over and over, this session was your toolkit. try this, try 2 or 3 of these in your emails or meetings or small talk, and they'll help you sound more fluent and more like you. So, which phrase do you like the most? Have you ever had to bite the bullet or found a win-win situation? Drop your favorite one in the comments, or if you've got another one like Mandy just shared, keep me posted. Let me know. And let's share how we're putting things to work. Actually, no. Keep me posted is the one I already talked about that one. Yeah. So I'd love to hear your comments. Let me know what you want. Okay? And your challenge for this week is pick one of the phrases, like I just said, and use it in a real conversation. Can you do it? Whether it's in a meeting, an email, or a casual chat. Then come back, put a comment in the video. Tell us how it landed. Did it feel natural? Did someone smile? Did it spark a better response? I'd love to know. And if you want to improve your English without boring grammar drills and memorization, check out my Mastering English for Busy Professionals course. Just 10 minutes a day to train your brain to think and speak naturally in English. The link is in the description. Okay. All right, we're already over time, so I'm going to jump right into the Mastery Minute, and I actually have a bit of a personal story behind this one. This is pretty good. Today's word is fib, and here's the surprising story behind that. But first, let me ask you, have you ever told a little white lie to keep the peace? You know, something harmless like pretending that you like someone's presentation, even though it went completely off the rails. That's what we call a fib. Let's jump into that. Here's the fun part. I was editing a video for my dad about Fibonacci levels in stock trading, and he kept saying fib for short. My mom overheard and asked, "Hey, isn't a fib a little lie?" And they laughed about it, but then turned to the camera and said, "Hey, Dennis, you're the word guy. Where does that even come from?" So I looked it up. And fib first popped up in English in the early 1600s, about 1610 or so. Most experts think it came from the older phrase, even older, fibble fabble or fibble fable, which literally meant nonsense. So that phrase itself is probably based on the word fable from the Latin fabula, which means story or tale. So over time, fib took on a lighter meaning a smaller or a small, harmless, often childish lie. So the next time someone says it was just a fib, you'll know it's more about make-believe than malice. They're not really lying to hurt you. Here's a couple of examples. He told a little fib about why he was late. That's just a fib. Don't worry about it. So if you've got a great fib story or a funny Fibonacci mix-up, drop it in the chat. I want to hear it. All right. And that's it. That's all the time we have. We've gone way over time, but I appreciate you joining me on my son's birthday. That's it for episode 51. Today we learned 10 fun and practical business phrases to make your English more natural and engaging, plus a cool backstory behind the word fib. I know, I was surprised too. Next time, on Monday, we're going to jump into powerful alternatives to using the word very, so you can sound more natural, get some better descriptions, and you'll be more confident in any situation. Whether you're writing emails or speaking in meetings, this one will level up your vocabulary fast. So I want to say thank you. Like this video if you got something from it. Press that subscribe button if you haven't already. And share with a friend who's trying to level up their English one phrase at a time. And I'll see you on Monday night at 9:30 Korea Standard Time.